Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Coping with Life, Disabled and Mentally Ill. I'm your host, Scott. I hope you are having a wonderful Saturday, or whenever you may be listening to this. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're chasing your dreams. But love the people in your life. You know, life is short. And that's relative. And no matter what you're going through, no matter what your family's going through, no matter what you're personally dealing with, or what other people are going through, please know that you matter. And know that most hardships can be temporarily. Not always. I like to be optimistic and positive. But I'm also not naive. I know some things, may not get better. But the way that I am, I try and look on the positive outlook. And I'm going to be honest, I can be negative. I'm not perfect, but I try to be as positive as possible. But love the people in your life, because when they're gone, they're gone. And it leaves an empty space that no matter what you do can never be filled, in my humble opinion. And that level of grief, that level of loneliness, that level of... it stacks. And no matter what may be going through your mind or head or whatever you think about, it's rough. And, for me, everybody is special. Everybody, is amazing. No matter what you may or may not have done in your life. I appreciate you. I care about everybody. That's how I am. And, depending on certain situations, and different people, my opinions may differ a little bit. But heavy hearts and, the weight of things can be overbearing. And you're not alone. Even though you might think you are, whatever you may be going through. And it's hard. Especially if, in your mind, you might be walking alone. But what you don't see is the army of people who are supporting you, in the corners. I don't speak religiously on this podcast or in my everyday life. I keep it to myself. But I am going to say something you may disagree with. If it's not your thing, I'm okay with that. But I'm going to use this analogy because that's one of the things that, gets me through my everyday challenges. A lot of people say they want the Lord to, be in his hands. I don't see that. I would rather have him be under his wing and have him help guide me to where I need to go. And that, to me, gets me through knowing that I'm being guided by him under his wing in his aid. And so I personally don't talk religion or politics to a lot of people, but I felt that somebody may need to hear that, so I'm digging in my bag of tricks and wise words, and maybe somebody needs that. I don't know. I feel it. I felt like somebody may need to hear those words. And this is a harder episode for me. And I feel like there's a lot of people that need to hear this. And I need to speak because life is hard. And even though I try to be really positive and this season, I really haven't talked a lot about harder subjects because they're hard on me and they put me through emotion that I don't really want to feel. But they're there. They've always been there. It's really hard to speak. And especially when it's hard to find the right words. And I've been trying to think of words, but for a good part of a year, maybe more, I've been ending a lot of my episodes with tell people you love them, know that you matter, and when they're gone, it's really hard to convey things that you may have always wanted to tell somebody who may or may not be in your life anymore. And I thought that would be enough. But having peace of mind and, level of grief, level of summer myth, and other stuff that may weigh heavy on your soul. You matter. The people in your life matter. But this episode is way overdue. Because life isn't easy. Everybody goes through, trials and tribulations. And you know, and it's not just sadness. You can be angry dealing with people, coworkers, what may what it may be, you know. And whatever it drives you to find, the stuff that's bothering you and being able to talk about it. Because, not everybody's happy. Not everybody is happy-go-lucky, carefree. But people try. Some people don't. But, depending of the people in your life, is it a good support system? Is there any support system? Or is it a terrible situation where it's all negativity, it's more sadness or thing that makes you angry or leave you empty and hollow? That's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to live. And I'm giving you my opinion. I'm going to be honest, and I've said it many times, but if this is your first episode listening, I've never really worked a day in my life. So what do I know, right? I know a lot of things. I may not personally have worked a day in my life. Now, there's an asterisk. I'm not going to get into many details, but that statement isn't quite factual, especially the but if you spread it over 35 years, I'm not like other people who have worked every single day since they were 17. That's not my work history. So I've never worked a day in my life. But that's not factual. That's highly inaccurate. But that's what I tell people. But I understand that, coworkers may be not ideal, maybe taking advantage of somebody or making things a lot harder. And it could be bosses, it could be whatever it may be. Customers, whatever the situation is for you. I'm not going to know everybody's situation. But those stresses, maybe you have car payments, house payments, stuff that you may not understand. I may not personally understand majority of those things, and I'm being honest. Those things are apparent, and yet I try really hard to be there for everybody. Spreading the love, the joy, the caring, the the big hugs, and I do say big hugs, because I am a very large individual, and I'm a hugger. I do like hugs, but not a lot of people do. And one of the things that I would like to say is maybe you're not somebody's cup of tea. And that's okay. And you have to find yourself knowing maybe the situation isn't perfect. No matter how hard you would like it to be or you manifest it, you can't force things. And sometimes you have to let go. What extent is it? That's up to you. And it may not be an answer that you find right away. And in my opinion, hopefully you can talk and have a real conversation. But if it's towards somebody else and they refuse to have a real conversation, they would rather have an argument, a fight, maybe they gaslight you or change the subject or deflective, or maybe that's you. Maybe that's how you are when somebody's trying to have a real conversation with. The other thing that you need to realize that may not be healthy, and maybe find different ways to handle things, or go separate ways. Now, I'm just giving you my opinion. And that goes hand in hand with what you may be dealing with, or maybe you're grieving the loss of somebody, or maybe in the process trying to cope, trying to find ways, and life is very difficult. There's not a book of, in an event of this, do this. Every day is different, and every day brings different challenges. Highs, lows, and finding ways to breathe, finding motivation. At the end of the day, whatever drives you, fantastic. Find the little joys, the little happinesses. But most importantly, find yourself. Because I'm going to be honest. 2 years ago when I started this podcast, I've never told the reason exactly why I started this. I've given the answer of, somebody told me to just do it, and so I did. But there was a few reasons behind it, and I'm not comfortable talking about that right now. But there is an underlining sole reason of me starting this. And hopefully one day I can talk about it. But that time is not now. And I tried to be honest, but at the same time, I'm not going to force things. Because I'm still trying to figure everything out myself, you know? It is an ever-ending situation where, you know, it's hard. And we have to persevere and continue and, you know, find our happy. One of my driving forces is always be happy. And even if I'm personally not okay, if there's other people that are having a bad day or dealing through traumatic experiences, or they just need somebody to talk to, no matter what I'm going through, I'm going into the mode of, alright, I'm going to make this person feel better. Because that's how I've always been. And it's not easy to find the right words, but there's some days where, you know, talking is hard. Finding something that I really want to talk about, but at the same time I want to help people. That's what this podcast is for, and also helping me. You know, it is coping with life, disabled, and mentally ill. I may talk about NASCAR, wrestling, whatever it may be, maybe what I'm doing, stuff that I did in the week before, or maybe I had a bad week, or whatever it may have been. I want to help people, especially if it's open their eyes about somebody who is a little lunatic-y. I mean, I'm fun to be around in many different ways, but you know, you have to find things for you, and I don't have all the answers. You know, find the people you care about, confide in, and maybe you just need to vent. You know, take out a journal, open a Word document, take a walk. If you have an animal, you know, vent to them. Because you vent to an animal, they're going to give you all their love and then some. Now, I don't have an animal. I live in a building that I can't anyways. But, you know, I happen to have things that I can vent to. But I know not a lot of people have that opportunity. So I wish you good health. And you know, whatever bothering you, I hope improves, gets better. I hope you find the light in the darkness. And you know, don't do anything stupid. Because, you know, people care about you. And if there's somebody that you know is struggling, you know, Maybe be that ear. You know, we should be there for people. And if you are not capable of being that type of person to somebody, that is okay. You know, instead of, oh yeah, I need to do this, like, I'm not this person. I don't know how to handle the situation. That is okay. And once you know that, you know, that's a good thing. So love the people in your life. Because when they're gone, they're gone. Even if it's a slow fade, you know, the end is near. And, you know the people in your life when they're always there for you. But you can also see when they're not. When they always make excuses and deflect. You don't need those people in your lives. Because how is that healthy? When all you want to do is, you know, X, Y, and Z, and they only need you when it's important to them. How does that help you? I'll give you time. Really think about that for a second. If, you know, if you invite somebody to, let's say, dinner, but it's a Dutch situation, nah, I'm good. But yet, if they need help moving, or if they want you to do something for them, it's always on their terms. And I'm going to flip it as well. Maybe you're that person. You know? How is that beneficial? You know, I'm only one person. I do everything myself. You know, a couple weeks ago I was cleaning. Nobody wanted to help me. I had to do everything myself. Did I ask anybody? No, I didn't. But I don't want to be a burden. Don't want to be a nuisance. And yet I do things myself. You know, I would love to go to concerts or traveling with people, but nobody wants to travel with me. But I'm going to be honest and I'm going to say something. And if it offends you, I apologize. But at the same time, I don't. So I've asked many people if they wanted to go to a trip to Japan with me. But I've always made it clear that, you know, they have to pay their way. I've heard many of, I can't do that. But I'm going to say something, and this is very hurtful. But how many people would join me if I said I would pay for everything? You know, all inclusive. that would be a different story. No, that's not the case. I'm, you know, like I said, it's controversial, but, you know, hey, I want to go do this. Nah, I'm good. But if, you know, I put up the entire bill, how it changes. You know, that really puts a damper on things that makes you want to open your eyes a little bit more of, you know, who's the real people in your life. You know, maybe you need to find a way to walk away from certain situations. And I need to get better at that too. There's a lot of things that I need to get better at. And it all starts within. And finding time to breathe. And, you know, everybody goes through hardships and deals with daily stuff, but find a way to laugh. And I'm going to be honest, also find a day, have a good cry. 100%. Release that negative energy. Have a good cry, man. You know, whatever it may be. Have a great deep breath. You know, don't try changing other people because they don't want to change. They're going to continue living their life. But maybe you can change yourself. And whatever it may be, you know, you can always improve. You can always try and turn a good leaf, but it has to be true to you. Because if you don't believe it, it's not going to stay. You know, if you're doing it for ulterior motives, if you're being something that you're not, that's going to fade. And your true self is going to come out again. You can't suppress it forever. So you have to be honest with yourself. No matter what you're going through, the highs, the lows. So, thank you for this episode of Coping with Life. I'm your host, Scott. Love the people in your life. Care about the people in your life. And find a ways to smile. Whatever you're going through, I'm sorry that you're going through that. I'm sorry for many things. And I wish you the best. Till next week. I love you all. And I bid you adieu.